Hi, it's David from Lifeboat, and I'll get right into it. I'm a British guy talking about British cost of living issues, and I relocated over here to the country of Georgia. So I'm also talking a little bit about Georgia, what it's like, and some of the benefits to being British in Georgia, and for other British people that may be interested to invest here. And just standing right here on the north end of Tbilisi Sea. It's a little windy. It's a beautiful view back here. You can kind of see the Chronicles of Georgia building right there, and very, very famous monument. Really nice spot. There's a bunch of houses over on the other side of the water yet, but not much. I mean, it's going to be a big development zone in the future, and a lot of great opportunities to buy seafront property. It's not a very big sea. So it's about 10 miles by 5 miles, but it's great in the summertime. Nice to come out here walking, and let's just have a think about some of the issues that are in the news at the moment. There's a new Brexit deal for Britain. Boris Johnson did the sort of Brexit after Theresa May did the Brexit, and now Rishi is doing his own Brexit, negotiating with the EU. So that's good to know. You never really leave the EU, you just kind of keep negotiating. I wonder if you guys all noticed that it was back after the referendum, there was the Department for Brexit, and Liam Fox was in charge of it, and he was flying around the world doing all these negotiations on trade deals with other countries, so that when we did Brexit, we'd have all these countries, all these trading partners. And there's loads and loads of talk about it in the news. And then when Boris Johnson did the Brexit, he said straight away, we've got this deal ready to go. It was some really minor country like Burkina Faso or Democratic Republic of Congo, and we did the deal with them. He said there was plenty more to come, and then they never mentioned it again. There was never any talk about deals with China or Japan or India or Pakistan or the UAE. None of it ever happened. It was just sort of, we had all this stuff with Liam Fox, then we had the Burkina Faso deal, and then there was nothing. And then Rishi, even the other day, he was saying, yeah, we kind of got all these trade deals lined up, but of course I think the British people are onto the scam. There's nothing the British government's doing to facilitate Brexit. They are just there to prevent Brexit from happening while talking about it at the same time. So that's in the news. There's also, like I was talking about yesterday, there's all this Ukraine stuff going on, and would be interested to see what you guys think about that, whether it's in British interests to send troops, whether it's in British interest to send billions of dollars, whether it's in British interests to do anything other than sit by and watch. Just like I've said a lot of times before, Britain can be the facilitator of progress by organising other countries to send money and arms and people to the world's problem zones. Why is it always us that has to send the money and arms? Why can't it ever be anyone else following a phone call from British leadership? It's always got to be us. You kind of just see through the trees back here, Tbilisi Sea. Very, very pretty. You can kind of knock down a few of these trees, build a home site right here where I'm standing, kind of sea view. Very, very inexpensive land, $30-40 a meter, and easy for foreigners to buy property here in Georgia. So a lot of exciting things, I believe, in the world as far as escaping the cost of living crisis. And it's called a cost of living crisis because we don't want to talk about the fact that it's an inflation crisis. We don't want to talk about the fact that Britain blew a bunch of money paying people to be locked down during the lockdown so they wouldn't work, and now we have expensive goods because we have more money chasing fewer goods that were not produced. And I was one of the few people talking about this. Maybe some of you were talking about it at the same time, but there was lots of people that thought the lockdown was a great thing, and now they're complaining about the cost of living, and they're not correlating the two things. There's also another story in the news yesterday about how America's decided that the virus came from the lab. It's like news to me. No one could have figured that out. I wonder what Carrie Simmons was thinking, because she was big on the banning of the wet markets worldwide, because we don't want to have viruses escaping. But it wasn't from the wet market or the wet market, it was from the lab. But to put your mind at rest, it was accidental, so there's nothing to worry about. We only spent $2 trillion or £2 trillion to protect ourselves from the virus, but it was an accident. So there's no need to talk to anyone at the lab, no need to arrest anyone at the lab, because it's an accident. So we can kind of just move on from that. Check out the view, guys, up here. Nice, very nice spot. Down there, that's the southern end. So we see how on that hillside, really underdeveloped. As you come round, there's a bit more development. Small houses, they kind of don't really maximize the views quite as much in Georgia as I think they could. Great opportunities for architects to really come and design properties that maximize the landscape, some of the beautiful scenery. But yeah, so cost of living high in Britain, and I really wanted to point out some benefits to 3 specific groups. If you are thinking about diversifying out of Britain or out of the Western financial system, not that you need to do that on my behalf. Some people have great investments in Britain, and I've invested in Britain a lot, and more power to you if that's what you're doing. But as an alternative option, I think fixed income retirees can look to diversify out of the UK and maintain their standard of living, because so many other countries in the world have very low costs of living. So you can sell your house, take all your equity out, and you can reinvest it into another country where the costs are very low. You can buy an equally nice house that you have in Britain, and then you've got hundreds of thousands of pounds left over to fund your retirement, because the British pension system is in big trouble. Second group are these sort of young men who maybe see the writing on the wall, maybe say we don't want to spend all of our working life paying British debt that we did not accrue, and we'd rather go somewhere else where costs of living are very low, where we can work and have purpose and enjoy life. And it's a good option for you to maybe consider other alternatives to staying in the UK. Rather than complain about the cost of living crisis, why not just sidestep it altogether? And then the third group I wanted to mention are investors who, maybe you got a few properties in your portfolio, maybe you have, some problems with your rental yields, or there's all this war on landlords now, where landlords are going to pay more and more fees and more taxes, and you could say, hey, why don't I divest a couple of my rental properties, invest them abroad? People think that spending £500,000 on an apartment in Britain is low risk, but spending £25,000 on land or property in a country like Georgia is very high risk. And I would argue, having done both, that it's the total opposite. I think if you're divesting your money across nation states, you are better protected from the financial problems in certain countries. And I think we all know what I'm talking about. So I want to do more of these videos here in Georgia, talking to people about what opportunities there are, what I am seeing and hearing, in my own life here. And I come back to Britain pretty frequently, so I like to keep abreast. And I mean, when I go back there, there's always a lot of sticker shock when you're buying stuff in the supermarket. You guys know the prices of things a lot better than me, but why are we spending so much stuff on basic groceries? And it's because we have so much currency out there chasing too few goods. We need to get back to making more of our stuff and reducing the massive debt burden that we have as a country, rather than increasing it. So I think if you can get into low debt countries, you can enjoy the fruits of your wealth much more, because you're not being slammed with taxes. Here in Georgia, you got zero tax on foreign income. So if you work in IT, for example, you can carry on with your IT job, but you're spending less here, and then you're not paying any tax on the foreign income that you have, which is nice. I just want to turn around here, guys, so you can see behind me there's that kind of big apartment. There's like an apartment building there, and then next to it is a sort of really rundown house. Hopefully the owners of the house won't see this video, but it's really run down, and yet look at the view they have. It's like 360-degree view right on the hill over the water. beautiful, beautiful spot, and you know, just a great real estate opportunity for people. If you're interested in those kind of properties, you can retire looking at the water and going out on the boat and living in a lot of safety here in Georgia. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this video, get something from it. I want to keep talking about economic issues as the economy evolves, and I think will worsen as the cost of living crisis gets more expensive, and coming up with solutions to these problems. So hope you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll talk to you soon.